So, did you know that gun ownership among Black Americans is soaring, according to The Hill?
Doesn't surprise me. Yeah.
It doesn't surprise you. What does that mean?
The non-racist take of what yeah, the cool doesn't surprise me, not the bad doesn't surprise. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
The soft, not the hard, doesn't
Yeah,
surprise me.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna tell you, this doesn't surprise me one bit.
Yeah.
It's like,
Well, it's been like that for years. They're just jacking up
yeah,
the numbers.
yeah.
Yeah. But so The Hill put an article out about it. It's very
Yeah,
funny. I didn't even read the article. I don't care, honestly. Like it's just
yeah,
whatever. Like it's your right to buy a gun. Do it.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
I've always known Black people that are like, dude, I fucking love guns. Like I just
Yeah,
have. Like
well, it's funny how in America, or well, it's like only white dudes like guns is like our mental image, you
Mhm.
know? Yeah, it's
No,
like
and not even in like a not even in like a what about Chicago type of like owning guns. It's like more so
yeah, yeah,
they just like gun. They're just like, no, I want to protect myself. Like
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
would prefer for guns to be legal. Like
It's like a
and
normal American.
yeah, I
Yeah,
don't think they're
yeah,
not hammering for like Parkland school shooting like reform type stuff.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
it just
yeah. Yeah,
wasn't really the case. But The Hill puts out an article, and I'll put it up right here. The um gun ownership among Black Americans is soaring. So it's really funny when you look in the replies and it's all liberals going like this. Suddenly, conservatives feel a disturbance in the forest, and then like best way to get gun regulations on the book when the GQP Republicans realize the African American community are armed, they're going to be screaming for gun reform. And then you go down, and this guy's like, a couple of like replies within that, like, oh yeah, this tweet needs a trigger warning for Republicans. And then like
oh, they're always down. They
you'll
don't
see
care.
people going like,
Yeah,
nah, we're thrilled to have more gun owners. Like that's your right. Like they're just
yeah,
like
yeah,
they're
yeah,
like, oh man, this is so like, oh, Republicans are gonna hate this now. And then it's like, nah, it's
yeah,
cool, man. Nice.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah,
What kind of guns you get? Post your guns. Like, yeah.
yeah.
Like, you want to see mine? Yeah.
Yeah, from the 5 to the 6, we be in the mix with that rare candy paint job on the whip. I need food for the kids, money for the rent. Fuck a lockdown, baby, I can't do that shit. And I don't never vote, cause I'm fucking broke. And either way, I know the police ain't gon' leave me alone. On a plane, bout to visit Glen Rock. Need crypto, told me I should bring the Glock with me. So I packed up my piece and I'm sliding. Cause we might get caught up in a riot. Middle finger Trump, middle finger Biden. Fuck a left, fuck a right, is you riding? Know you love to see it, dudes rocking. Ain't no politics, baby, we just talking. From the birds to the bricks, we be in the mix with that rare candy paint job on the whip. Who you with?
Yeah.
It's such projecting. White liberals will never admit it, but they have something to hide behind where they could be like, well, white men with a gun can shoot up anything. But they equally do not want Black people to have guns.
No, no, of course not. Yeah, it's yeah. There's so much LARP within this whole thing about that. Yeah, it's been that way for years, for sure. Yeah,
I don't know. Like you like it's just I hate that feeling. Like it's the same concept where like they'll be like transphobia is in like white supremacy. You know, when
yeah,
people say that, like transphobia, I'm like, I'm pretty sure white people are the only culture that like wholesale reps it. Like honestly, like
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
like I'm sorry. Hey, could be speaking, uneducated here, but like,
Well, I think there's like historical. There's like what am I? There's like ancient cultures, or like even modern cultures today that are still with their ancient past that do have like non-gender binary
I think
stuff. But
India,
that's
right? Wasn't
huh?
India something like that? Like
A
they
lot
had
of
like,
places, a
yeah,
lot of places, but that's not the majority of people. You know what I mean?
and that's not
In the,
something.
and
That's
it's
not what people. They don't get their thought from that. They're not like,
yeah, yeah,
well, my culture, 1,000 years ago, there was one they them in the village
yeah.
working as a yeoman, and
Yeah.
I don't know,
Them. Yeah.
yo them, yo them TV raps, and uh, anyways, we didn't. We have merch out, and I want to say this at the beginning of the
Yeah.
episode. I have a bad habit of plugging everything at the end of the episode when people are already like trying to find the next podcast to listen to.
Dude, our merch goes hard. I'm sorry. Like
It's
it was
very
fucking,
good. It's very
like,
good.
yeah, it's a top 3 grift shop. I feel fucking
I
yeah.
think so too. And I
Yeah.
say this as somebody who's purchased other grift shop shirts. Like I have them, what I mean,
Yeah.
and I'm just
Uh-huh.
saying it's really good. So I'm gonna pull up
Yeah.
the store here. If you guys want to head check it out, this is at, let's see. You can just go to the Griff shop, and we have a pop-up shop on there. So you can get a Weedriard, if you remember the Egg God and Headache episode. Made a nice shirt out of that.
We have their address. Should we send them just one of those?
Might have to. Yeah, just on the strength. Like, just there you go, man. Let me see. I'm sure Egg God loves just giving out his address. So I'll have to ask publicly. Yeah. Next time he's on the pod, we'll have him say it. Yeah. And then got the RC sticker. Shout out. I had somebody, I don't know if they want to be shouted out on here, so I won't say it, but they said they're going to stick it on the New York Times building in New York.
Yep.
The Rare Candy sticker. I would love that. They gave me the opposite. They said that Fox News or Madison Square Garden. I'm like, Fox News would go hard, but I feel like that's not the. Yeah, I don't know. I think New York Times, in honor of our sweet Barry Weiss, our favorite. They got rid of her, so we. Yeah. But yeah, we got a beanie, forest green beanie, and a dad hat. Everybody really likes the dad hat. I do too. I love it. Yeah. So, just go head on over there, and it's at Griff Shop. It's a pop-up shop. It will be available until Friday. So when you're hearing this on Monday, when it comes out, the Friday of the week that you're hearing this, it's going to be available. Hey, I understand not everybody's got money for a 1 week purchase. This isn't going to be the last time we have merch available. In fact, it's just the beginning. So don't worry about it if you can't support it. But if you can, this is one way to support us. We're not going to be doing paid content. We're not going to be doing Patreon, stuff like that. That's not on the books. So
yeah, more like Patreon, dude. If I can, as in,
yes, no, we gotcha. And so yeah, and then also I'm gonna start brewing beer too. And I say this as somebody who's never done it before, so it might take.
But
it's
gonna be the best beer you've ever had, though. You know.
This might be for Q1 2022. I'm just saying, like, I don't. If I get it right away, it's gonna be available right away. But I'm saying it in the same way that when we had COH on here, and I'm getting into gardening.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it. I accountable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Call me out if you don't get it. Like if you don't,
exactly.
If you're not hearing about it or anything, call me out. That's the way I look at it. So that's cool. The merch goes hard. And support Griff Shop too. Griff Shop's got a bunch of other stuff on there too.
Fucking fantastic. Yeah.
Might have to get them
underrated tweeters.
Underrated poster. Everyone remembers the Bernie vaccine thing that got him in trouble with Zionist Twitter. Anyways. To the meat of the day here. COVID is still happening. I mean, for some people, I guess. And there's a mass push for vaccinations. My parents have gotten them. They got J and Jade.
They got J and Jade.
They got J and Jade.
Did they know they were getting it? Did they know?
No, dude. It was crazy. Like, I like. They don't care. Like they were just like, I was asking my mom. They're like, do you know which one you're getting? And it's like she told them to be like, surprise me. It's like, it was like,
exactly.
Oh, I can't pick.
It's like, what color like birthday candles do you want or something? You know?
It's like, oh God, I'll be here all day if you ask me to pick. So just jam that. And so that happened. They're both feeling fine after their one shot. So it is funny though, because the people who are younger are getting like fucked over by like the reactions. It's like I don't hear the older people suffering as much, like from flu-like symptoms.
You know who dropped that fact first was Berenson though. That's exactly what he said. Like when he was like, check out this trial data. That's exactly what it's gonna show. Is that But that also they're saying that also means that it'll be less effective in old people too.
I think that's true. But that, you know what?
Yeah.
I'll get to my point on that later, but like, I was laughing at the idea of, because I saw a couple people posting, and like, again, there's so many people. Like I've had people DM the account. They're like, "Hey, like, I got like vaccinated. Is that cool?" I'm just like, don't make the fucking rules, dude. Yeah, if that's what you did. That's what you did. Like, it's not a big deal. Like, just no, you may not listen. Actually, what is your IP address? You're banned from subscribing to the show. But and like, no, of course. I can't even say that I won't be getting it. Like, that's the thing. Like for me personally, I can't say that I won't be getting it. But the young people, right? Like I see some people in their 20s and they're like, dude, I haven't gotten out of bed for like 3 to 4 days. Yeah. I'm sore. I have the chills. Like I'm nauseous. And I'm like, sounds like you have COVID.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Like, it's like, so you basically got COVID. Like, you know,
like, well, a lot of times it's worse. Yeah.
No, but I'm saying you got the vaccine to not get COVID. COVID wasn't going to kill you statistically. as a healthy, I don't know everybody's health. There could be, it could be somebody
Yeah,
horribly asthmatic. I'm not saying that, but COVID wasn't gonna take you out statistically.
Yeah.
Under the age of 30, it's almost, not even worth
Yeah.
reporting on the death rate there, like the actual
Oh
death rate.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
then you're like, yeah, I was fucked, like isolated for 3 to 4 days, couldn't go to work, and I was just like, all right.
Yeah, the best is when you have to take off work to take the vaccine.
I know.
It's like can't go
I
to
know.
work, dude. Fuck it. But yeah, man, this isn't the yellow fever. People are like, well, we need to get vaccinated for yellow fever and polio and shit. And like that stuff's debatable, whatever. You can talk about the historical context.
That sounds like racist people. They're like China virus, yellow fever. No, but
yes,
but
yeah, exactly.
that sounds like something they're making the connection on a racist note. Like,
yeah. But no, it's fucking, it's wild. It's crazy to me. This is such an obvious grift. Like, just the fact
grift
that
shop.
they don't.
This is what grift shop should be doing.
Yeah, just vaccine.
Vaccinate. He's like, hey, my 1 week pop up for vaccinations is open if you guys want.
Well, let me ask you this: why don't we test everyone who's gonna get the vaccine for antibodies first?
Yeah.
Why not that? Like,
exactly.
Is there a good reason for that? Because if you have antibodies, if you've had the COVID, it's questionable whether the vaccine is going to do a whole lot of good for you.
Is
and
that true?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's the whole point of. Yeah, but what they'll say is they'll be like, oh, like that, just because you have antibodies doesn't mean you can't catch COVID twice,
or the variants.
Like extremely rare. But that being said, okay, now do the vaccines. It's like that's the thing. They always have to. You always have to play like. Play both sides basically to be right about this, or to pretend to be right about this shit. I don't know. I just have still so many questions. Like, what? Still, no one has answered me. What okay, because Johnson & Johnson is like, okay, Pfizer and Moderna are the mRNA ones, right?
Mm-hmm.
We've never had an mRNA vaccine before. Don't let anyone tell you differently. Like, we've been researching this for years. Like, they're not FDA approved, and I had one other point. But anyway, all the other ones are apparently non-mRNA, right? Because they don't include that technology, right? How come this is the year we figured out how to vaccinate against coronaviruses when it's been like an open question in the scientific community for like decades? No one's answered me that. No one has said like what breakthrough we had.
Well, St. Fauci came from the clouds.
Yeah, with his Israel cash, dude.
He does it.
Yeah,
he does it he did it in the 80s, right, with AIDS. So then he disappears for a while.
Yeah,
came back for SARS, right?
Yeah,
and he was like, yeah, I'm back. Goes to the heavens. So it's basically like every other decade he comes back from the heavens. To
Fauci dropped, dude. Yeah, fucking
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Fauci's
but no, just that basic. Like, wait, well, what's the logic? What happened? Like, no one said why this one is different, why this one works all of a sudden. So it's just either they're hiding something, or it's just the biggest grift of all time.
I hope it just doesn't work.
You mean the vaccines?
Well, I'm not saying I hope it doesn't work. Like, I want my parents to like actually get the benefits of it if they got it, right? I'm not saying that. I'm saying I hope that there isn't like a really fucked up ass side effect thing that like lingers. And I'm talking not even just right after you get it. Everyone's like, well, usually it happens within the first 2 weeks. I'm like, how do you know?
Yeah.
You don't know that. Like, what the fuck? Like, there's so much shit. Like, I mean, I know and I won't speak on it because I don't know, but I've seen the reports on certain tumors being linked to like fucking certain things. I'm not.
So this is an experimental vaccine using experimental technology, and they're not FDA approved. Those are facts. Okay, those are facts right there.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing is we cannot sue for liability no matter what happens. So it could be the biggest class action lawsuit of all time that will just.
Let me stop you there. How do you And I believe what you're saying, but there still are lawsuits against. So when you say somebody like Pfizer, I think you said they've paid out more damage than any other company. Well, how did they do that if you can't?
Not for their vaccines.
For like baby powder and shit like that, or like I think the baby powder thing too. Okay, that was
Johnson & Johnson, but asbestos. They're all everyone. Well, Moderna has never had a product. Like they've been like a. They're like a tech startup, That's literally what they are.
It's Theranos.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But people do. So the vaccine Compensation Act of the late 80s. I think it was a Reagan thing,
Mm-hmm.
where yeah, you're not legally, they created a whole separate court, a literal kangaroo court for vaccines, where billions of dollars in damages have been paid out to families, including for things like autism, stuff like that. So like whatever anyone says about that, well, there's cases, of
Mm-hmm.
yeah. But anyway, uh so it's not, you cannot through like the traditional legal system sue vaccine manufacturer for
I see. For a vaccine
yeah,
related injury. Yeah.
damages, yeah.
100%. I just
For a
will,
non FDA approved emergency authorization, yeah.
Oh
So
my
it's just
favorite.
like these basic facts are like indisputable, and no one seems to know them, and it's just so, I don't know, it's a trip. I don't
Mhm.
know. Yeah.
Yeah, and what I find funny too about it is like the CDC. What's that lady that looks like Jennifer Rubin? Have you seen her? The one
Yeah,
that, well, I don't
yeah.
know who she's like the director of the CDC.
The
She,
doom and gloom.
doom and gloom one.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
then she also said like our studies, and it's not just data, it's like actual like empirical evidence. Like she's saying it like that.
Yeah.
And she's like, if you are vaccinated, you cannot carry the virus. That's what she
Yeah,
said.
well, that's another
Which
thing I've heard so many. Yeah.
which like, okay, I don't believe that for a second. Like I think you still can get it. I still think you can carry it. But
Yeah.
why not just roll with that then? So then I don't have to get it.
Yeah. Well, and yeah, exactly. Yeah.
yeah.
I did have a the Israel thing, because they're talking, Israel's going hard with the vaccine passport or
Mhm.
whatever. But I did read a thing today that apparently it's like if you've had the vaccine, 2 doses of a vaccine, or you've had COVID, which is like, I was like, oh, that's lit. That's way better than I thought.
What do you
'cause
mean if you've had COVID?
if you've had COVID, if you recovered from COVID and have the antibodies, you don't need the
Be
that.
vaccinated?
I guess, yeah. Which is the way it should be, but the Jennifer Rubin lady, I think what they're doing is they know that asymptomatic infection is the key thing throughout all this, and they know they flip-flopped on asymptomatic transmission like 12 times.
Mm-hmm.
So they're just piggybacking on saying like, if you're asymptomatic, it's not because of the vaccine, it's because you're asymptomatic. I think they're just piggybacking on that basically.
I see.
um
But I'm saying it doesn't
Yeah.
seem like that works for their best interest to say that. It should be like actually an unvaccinated person can still spread it to a vaccinated person. That would make it more sense for making mandatory. That's why I mean it didn't add up to me for them to say if you're vaccinated you can't carry it, because then that's ammo for me to say, well then I don't need to get it because I don't feel like it's a threat to my me dying.
Mm-hmm. But the classic vaccine argument against that is, well, for all the people that can't get vaccinated, you're exposing them. For the people that can't get vaccinated,
They're exposing themselves.
But we need everyone to self-sacrifice,
So they can only hang out with vaccinated people?
No, well, I mean, in theory, yes, but
what if they all have a disabled?
But you
like,
want the whole argument, and again,
with?
I don't believe this, because
Yeah.
I think this is a bullshit argument. But they say we need maximum percentage, 99% vaccinated population, so that the unvaccinated people are so spread out, interspersed,
right,
that the transmission doesn't occur, and that we protect the vulnerable.
I see.
But so again, herd immunity for me, but not for thee, kind of thing, with the whole vaccine thing, And again, yes, this is making young people like pretty ill, I don't know, with whole So, but whatever. It's just like, see, those of us that have known about this shit, this is just, there's nothing new to
right.
except for the technology behind it or whatever.
Yeah, and
yeah,
even
but I don't know.
Pivoting from the vaccine, it's just funny now, like the COVID measures, like certain states, like good for them, they just opened up, right? Texas, Florida just opened up, and everybody was warning. Everybody was doing the whole death cult thing. I remember the Matt Christman death cult thing back in the day. Oh, they're having right wingers. They're a death cult. It's still that like
COVID lives, dude.
The mask mandates. Oh man, like I still remember the people that were doing the try to take it from me Republicans, and it was a mask instead of a gun. I'm like, Jesus Christ, you're a horrible person.
You can wear it.
No one's gonna try to take it. You're just not invited anywhere. Like no one's gonna try to take it from you. But this was funny to me was this let me find the foul. Okay, this was the Today Show.
Oh, God.
And they had it's called State of Confusion. is like their little segment they had on. We don't have to watch the whole thing, but it's a very, very funny thing about something that we've all known. Kind of like there is an answer for this, but they don't want to say what it is. So here, let's play it.
Oh wait, I can't hear it because of the. Is it the?
Oh, did I not do the audio? Damn it. Let me see. You know what? I didn't press share audio. I always forget to do that. New computer. No, it's set on my old computer to do it. New computer today.
Yeah.
That's okay. That's okay. No excuses.
Yeah.
Not an excuse, but no excuse except for the fact that I just made an excuse.
Okay.
Let's see.
Yeah.
What's my wife's password there? I know what it is. But no, nonetheless, here we go. Let's see if this comes up.
Cases are on the rise.
There we go.
While in the South, states like Arkansas and Texas that have reopened businesses and ripped away mask mandates are seeing their numbers drop.
I'm announcing today that the statewide mask mandate will be lifted.
People and businesses don't need the state telling them how to operate.
Greg Abbott.
So what might explain the apparent contradiction? One theory, differences in testing rates.
Oh, yeah. Hold on. There's still this is why I thought this was funny. Listen to the rest of it. Don't say anything.
Dips in reported infections more than 50% in 2 weeks. But it's also dead last in the U.S. for COVID testing. Only 56 tests per 100,000 people. That's a fraction of what you'll find in places like Vermont, Massachusetts, and New York, where numbers are surging.
The Democrats.
How much does lack of adequate testing have to do with the numbers that we're seeing right now?
When you don't test, you're blind. And when you're not testing, you have a false sense of what the real problem is in your community.
All right. So they're doing the testing thing, which was what right-wingers used to say about China. Remember when China opened back up?
Yeah.
And everything? And everyone and like all the libs were like, see, they stayed inside. They get to have McDonald's now. And
like, obviously they stopped. They literally said they
didn't test asymptomatic. And asymptomatic, they never tested asymptomatic is what they, or I don't know if they never did, but they like after the first big wave that they had, they just stopped testing asymptomatic people because you shouldn't. And but now it's now that Texas and Florida open, there's no case spikes there. And I'm sorry, it wouldn't matter because it's always been about not positives, it's been about hospitalizations and deaths, right? That's always what it's been about. And it doesn't matter if they're not testing.
That's what
no one's dying of it out there.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's crazy. No, this is in fact I predict maybe not on the pod, but I knew all the arguments would flip. Once it behooved the other side to do so, and this is a perfect example. Yeah, the testing. Okay, so now do false positives on asymptomatics or PCR cycles being changed, and it's like
exactly.
No, fucking dumb. Yeah. Oh, that boils my blood. Is there more in this video?
I got not there's not much more on that video that wasn't just basically redundant kind of like indoctrination into stay inside liberalism. Yeah. But I do have a somewhat new Fauci clip just dropped, which I mean, anytime a new Fauci clip drops, I'm there. I'm outside the store like buying Jordans.
Yeah.
And so here we go. Let's see. This is just Fauci again, same concept. These states don't have the problems that these guys have.
Last month, when Texas effectively opened up, dropped all those restrictions and said it's back to life.
Look at the counter.
If you go to Texas, as you know, it looks like 2019. The restaurants,
looks like the election,
bars are full and open. The ballparks are full, and yet we've seen cases and hospitalizations since then continue to tick downward. So what do you make of that as all of us look around and sort of try to consider how safe it is to get back to normal life?
Yeah, it can be confusing because you may see a lag and a delay because often you have to wait a few weeks before you see the effect of what you're doing right now. There are a lot of things that go into that. I mean, when you say that they've had a lot of activity on the outside, like ball games, I'm not really quite sure. It could be they're doing things outdoors. It's
you said that was bad.
To just one-on-one compare that. You just have to see in the long range. I hope they continue to tick down. If they do, that would be great. But there's always the concern when you pull back on methods, particularly things like indoor dining and bars that are crowded, you can see a delay and then all of a sudden tick right back up. We've been fooled before by situations where people begin to open up, nothing happens, and then all of a sudden, several weeks later, things start exploding on you. So we got to be careful we don't prematurely judge that.
You've been pretty clear of
That's insane.
All right.
Dude. Like,
Yeah.
so he just
Yeah.
they're doing outdoor activities. It's like you said you can't, like, for the longest time you can't have large outdoor gathering. I mean, I
Yeah.
know the last month or so he said, but it's funny because, like, why does he make the rules, dude? Like,
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
it's-
he should.
Yeah, dude.
It's just basically him and Gates on there just saying, like, here's my technology. This is the technology you need, Gates would say.
Yeah.
And then Fauci's like, these are the rules. And liberals love rules. There's not,
Yeah.
I always thought growing up, conservatives
dude.
were the party of law and order. Conservatives
Yo,
were
I
the
know,
party
dude.
of this and that. Nobody loves rules more than, like, liberals
Yeah.
and leftists. I'm sorry. Like, the leftists, where what I hate about this is when they have their, like, they see what liberals reaction is like, the left, and it's not all the left, it's some people are coming around on it, but a lot of, like, the crazy leftoid people are like, they want to be to the left on COVID of liberals. They're like, no, you're not opening schools, no, like all this shit. And it's like, it's a race to, like, authoritarianism between those two parts.
Yeah.
Man.
That's why it's hard to call myself like a leftist because it's like, I don't know what that means. It means it's like you're not trying to be better than yourself but like better yourself or better than other people. Even you're trying to be like more left than other people, which is like, what does that fucking mean? You know, like, what does that even, it's on the spectrum. It means that you just compare your opinion to everyone else's on any given subject, and then to go one step further to try and be like an edgelord or something, rather than just like think about things through, and it's crazy. Yeah. So I don't know. I fully agree.
No,
Yeah.
and they flaunt that number too, especially like the leftists. Like I posted
The
this
number, what number?
the 600,000 deaths. Like they I think that's what the number is, right? Or something like that. It's like 600,000 or whatever. Some million worldwide or something. But okay, leftists, like, you didn't trust a word NBC or MSNBC, CNN, Joy Reid, any of these people, what they Don Lemon, what they said during the Bernie campaign. So you think they just started telling the truth about COVID? Like, that was when they were like, no, we'll be truthful now.
Exactly.
Now that we got Biden, the death rate isn't
it's
fucking real. It's not. The virus is real. The death rate is not real.
Death rate's not real, and it's like, I love the argument. Well, first of all, I love the CRK tweet where he's like, if COVID is really a big deal, they'd be telling you it wasn't. I was like,
that, or they shouldn't have to keep reminding you. That's also some his take. He's like, they
Yeah.
shouldn't have to keep saying stay inside. Like, you should be able to, like, okay,
Yeah.
I spicy take. I think you and I have said this before on our older COVID
Yeah.
episodes, but we didn't. I think we've like 5x'd our audience on this. So
Yeah.
it's a bit more risky now to say it, but
Yeah.
you ever see, like, I've seen threads, and I meant to bookmark some, but those, where I'm going with
About to
this,
say
by
the
way.
N-word. Here we go. Yeah, a little more risky.
Not
Wait, go
real.
on.
That's the N-word.
Yeah.
But what when I say these blue or white check people on the fucking in these threads saying, like, I've lost 6 family members to COVID, I'm like, you have to prove that. You have to prove that. I'm sorry. I need proof of that. If you're gonna say that willingly in the open, I need proof that 6 of your family members died.
Because no one knows any, like, you know what I mean? Like if you talk to any average person, they don't know.
I don't know any. I'm not saying it's not real because of that. I'm just saying I should know somebody.
Yeah.
I should know somebody who, like, was in ICU. If 600,000 people are dead from it.
I knew of someone in the swine flu that died, a young, like a 20-year-old, right? I didn't know them, but I knew of someone, like friend of a friend type thing.
Sucks.
20-year-old died. Like, that's just not. And that was way less of a quote, supposedly pandemic.
It was like a 3-week long thing, I remember.
Yeah. But the crazy the whole believe in MSNBC on this shit. I love the whole like, where did the argument between, like, where did the flu cases go? And then people are like, oh, it's because of masks and blah blah blah. And they're like, well, what about how come that didn't stop COVID? And they're like, because it's a much deadlier virus. It's killed 500,000 people. And it's like, but none of those flu cases were you know what I mean? It's like, so it's like,
they masks don't work for COVID. Then we should have been wearing masks for flus a long time.
Not only that, masks don't work for COVID, but they literally say they think that each one of these is a unique death that would have never happened during a flu season.
And
not only that it didn't take deaths from flu cases, right? but that literal flu cases weren't counted as COVID cases, because a lot of COVID deaths, they are literally not. Some are tested, some aren't. You know, like it's one of those things. But the real there was that. There's one other thing I had.
Well, here, let me expand
Yeah,
because it's related to what you were saying. So this is from the NHS, University Hospitals in Plymouth. Let me zoom in on it. It's a bit small, but the that's what she said. But the Freedom of Information Act. This is, I guess, the NHS. I don't know the NHS how their rules are for leaking information, but this is kind of raw that this is out there. And this is University Hospitals in Plymouth, which I guess is in the UK. And it says, you asked, and this is just a Freedom of Information thing. They're doing like a mailbag episode, and they're like, you asked how many people have died in your hospitals from COVID-19 alone, as in died only due to COVID-19. I can see the figures that you publish online, but these are deaths within 28 days of a positive COVID test. So they could have died from other causes. I just want to know the exact figure from 1st February 2020 until 20th December. God damn, English people. Fuck, that's not how dates go. Of people that have died due to COVID-19 and not anything else, please. I love the please. Was that you? Did you write that?
Yes.
But their reply, right? So their reply was pretty unfiltered. They say the numbers of COVID-19 deaths are recorded in the NHS England website. URL, reference tab 4. The trust considers 5 or fewer deaths related to patients without a pre-existing condition.
Jesus. That is insane, dude.
The University Hospitals Trust, NHS, takes the view that the actual number requested is too low to be disclosed.
Damn. Yeah, well, props for them. Yeah.
It's wild.
Wasn't that the one?
Well, here's the problem. Here's why nobody believed that. You know whose mentions that's in?
Oh, God.
Zuby.
Oh, yeah, fucking Zuby.
Zuby.
Yeah.
So if anyone doesn't know Zuby, that's like Ben Shapiro's favorite rapper now, besides Hobson. There's a theme here. Yeah. And so again, Ben Shapiro doesn't do himself any favors, because basically anybody that says anything on Ben Shapiro's show, even if they give an accurate report of the weather, is like wrong. So so no one's gonna care. And this was like in a response to a Whitney Webb tweet. Whitney Webb does a lot of really nice stuff. But then there's also another thing of the comorbidities of COVID deaths. And
I was wondering. This is what I've been waiting for.
Yeah, this is just awesome, like unbelievable. So, put this one up here, and in the comorbid thing. So there's falling. I can't. They cut off the numbers. This wasn't the greatest screenshot. I'll say that much. So these are some of the comorbid deaths. So if you want, Sai, explain comorbid deaths for people who might not know. Like what is that actually?
Multiple causes of death, supposedly, right?
So basically, like you could have cancer, but like die of a heart attack while having cancer. Got it.
Yeah.
But you didn't die of cancer. You had a heart attack. The two could somewhat be linked, but yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. So these are some of the things. It's not even cancer. Fall from tree is a COVID death. That's got a number there. That's a COVID comorbidity. Fall from a ladder. Unspecified drowning. Discharge from other and unspecified firearms. And these are people with antibodies, right? Were they not saying like
they had a positive COVID test within 28 days, right?
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Contact with hot tap water.
Tight.
I hate when that happens. And I feel you there. Victim of lightning, which it's like that sounds like if Metallica were to get the band back together, that's their album.
Dude. Yeah.
And it's nuts, dude. These are okay. So when you hear somebody say 600,000 people died in the U.S., and I think this is the NHS stuff. I'm not sure where that one was from. This was in the thread with the Zuby thread, the same thing.
Yeah.
And somebody did provide a link and it was verified, but they should have put it with, it was a bad post. They should have put the link with there because they knew the debunkers, the source. People would have came in there.
Yeah. It's fucking bizarre. Okay. Let's say none of those happened. All right. Let's say none. Okay. Let's just give the complete benefit of the doubt. Every single one of those was a COVID death. And those are probably younger people. Most of those people are probably
if you're fucking falling from a tree, I doubt you're 87 years old.
Yeah. Okay, forget about all those. Just benefit of the doubt. They're all fake right-wing conspiracy, whatever, you know. What are the numbers on nursing like how many people that
Yeah.
died of that COVID died in nursing homes? Isn't it like 40% or something
I
like
don't.
that?
I honestly don't know.
It's
I don't know.
crazy.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
before COVID, what was the lifespan of the average nursing home patient? Less than 6 months,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you go to a nursing home to die. It's like, the death rate in America is fueled by nursing home deaths, right? So
Yeah.
this is just nursing home people dying. Again, a lot of times they died from the flu in the
It's like
past.
trying to get
Now
another inning out of a starting pitcher. They're like, give me one more inning.
Yeah,
And then
exactly.
they're
Yeah.
like, we're pulling the plug. Which is, I need you to get through the seventh. Our bullpen is tired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this ties into what we'll talk about later in the episode, I think, too, on some shit with but anyway,
2-0 A's, by the way. Speaking of bullpens,
Oh, yeah.
beating the Astros.
got my TVs
Yeah,
up
so,
here.
guys, you're gonna have to get used to it. It's baseball season.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, we're just gonna have
That
to keep
homer
doing
was
that.
gnar. That was fucking no doubt homer.
Which one?
Last night?
Olsen. Yeah, Olsen. Yeah,
The 3-run, right?
Yeah, exactly.
He felt so Chad. He's just like, fuck yeah. He's just,
dude, they fucking basically had as many home runs as they had all year in one game. So let's get hot. Let's get hot, boys. Anyways, I'm sorry I derailed you there for a second.
So just being like the honest, like, the real. And I said, like, I said this point to one of my friends, and they're like, well, those deaths matter too. I'm like, okay, like, since when have you cared about nursing homes?
Yeah.
It's like, I'm not
You
saying
literally like stop.
Yeah,
I
dude,
mean,
it's
I
like-
won't say this to everybody because this is I do push back on this a little bit when people say like, oh, you only send somebody to a nursing home to die, like the family. It's like sometimes the family just isn't in a doesn't have like they use the parents' social security to like or their inheritance, but they might not have as much money on them to have somebody at the house with them at all times, be able to pay for in-home care. It's not an ideal situation. That speaks to our medical infrastructure. So when I say you send somebody to a nursing home to die, that's not exactly true. Like that's not but some people are cast off to nursing homes essentially to die. Like it's
well, I feel it's just, let's just see it for what it is.
You never cared about my grandma before this. That's all.
The real exactly. The real pandemic in any scenario is one where people that are dying that shouldn't be, right? From causes that are novel. And
Michael Phelps just dropping dead. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's just isn't what's really happening this year, And even if it was, it wouldn't be justification for all the fucking lockdowns and everything else that's happening. But it's just the fact that you can't. And I've been there before. Like I used to back in my earlier like vegan days, you'd throw around stats that were like a little hyperbolic to try and make your point better or whatever. That's what everyone with the 500,000 numbers doing. It's just like it's dumb, man. Yeah, I don't know. I don't like it.
No, but the dude, and just what it's done to people's mentalities. Like I saw this report from the CNN article. I didn't save it, but I tweeted it not long ago. But CNN posted an article and said, we're noticing a horrible trend in neurological disorders among people who young people recovering from COVID-19.
Yeah.
Right. This is again more lockdown fuel, more vaccination fuel. Basically, like even if you get COVID, you might not die, but here's the neurological thing. So I click and I'm like, they're saying 34% of cases. I'm like, that come on. So I'm like 34%. I open it up. They say 30. I think it's like it accounted for 33%. It was like 17 and 16% of that 34% anxiety and mood swings. That's the neurological disorder that COVID gives you. So not being locked in your house for a year, wondering if you're going to be able to pay rent after these moratoriums are over.
How do they control that for that? How can they claim that's exactly?
Did they interview every positive COVID person?
And we're the anti-science.
How you feeling? Yeah, and doing all right,
hey buddy. Bro, it's like that class of that type, whatever you call that, scientific, statistic, neoliberal, whatever you want to call. We all know it's a thing. That whole like CNN science crowd or whatever. They're allowed to be so loose
and anecdotal and everything.
Did you see that, bro? Did you see the MIT? This is a crazy study. It was one of those dumb like MIT undergraduate student like collab thing. So it wasn't like fully, it wasn't like some like legit super crazy thing. MIT did this. It was like a sociological study on the beliefs that quote unquote anti-COVID conspiracy theorists believe, like us, people like us,
Chad.
versus like CNN libs or whatever, right? And it was so hilarious. It was like they did a bunch of like crazy, like high tech, like going through everyone's tweets. And I've seen this before with pro GMO, anti GMO stuff,
Mhm.
where like the anti GMO people actually know their shit way better than the pro GMO people,
Of
and
course.
and so the exact same thing with with lockdowns and COVID. It's like it's the people that think this is all bullshit are like the way more scientifically literate and way more. But the MIT spin was so crazy. They did the craziest mental gymnastics I've ever seen to like try and like wiggle their way out of it. It was so funny. And it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, I don't
But
know. It's bizarre.
speaking to like just the anxiety part of it, it's like,
Yeah.
dude, I'm sorry. The only people I see that have like the most anxiety about anything, because this was such a fucking perfect cocktail for like smug neoliberalism
Yeah.
to just basically create your own Gestapo out of it, like I hate the Hitler. I honestly, here's the thing.
Yeah.
I hate the Hitler comparisons to all this stuff. I hate it. Because
Oh, you mean
when people are like, this is Nazi Germany, this is not, it's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
stop it. We don't
Yeah.
need, that's not what's needed to prove our point.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it's
yeah.
that's just people are like, dude, it's not
Yeah.
Nazi Germany, like it's
It's
you know,
not.
and it's
Yeah,
that's
it's
not
like-
the same thing.
It's
It's
something-
Orwellian for sure. It's not fucking Nazi Germany. Like
It's something very unique and different and modern, that's like, that could have never happened before in human history. Yeah, exactly.
but what's happened with these like liberals, this was perfect, dudes, because liberals love low effort things that make an impact. That's what they love more so than anything. Where I can be at my house, I can basically like interrogate anybody who plans on doing anything outside of their house.
Yeah.
Like if I see a Facebook post of somebody in
Yeah.
Cabo, I can be like, are you vaccinated?
Yeah.
And which one did you get? Both shots?
Yeah.
And 2 weeks after? You still wearing a mask, Fauci said. And they can still do all that stuff without leaving their house. Like this is the perfect thing. And I'm speaking from and they do like doing the work for fucking the CDC. This is what their platform is. And dude, I'm gonna tell you right now. I know somebody that works in the veterinary field, in an animal hospital. This is a fucking craziest story I've seen from somebody so COVID cucked. Now, this lady who I don't know, maybe she did have some like, illnesses or something that might be bad if she caught COVID. I don't know this. Story I'm hearing. So this person was saying that they hadn't left their house for, I think it was 6 months or 7 months. Like they hadn't like left their house. Groceries delivered, gloves, just full on like Heisenberg meth cooking suit, Walter White stuff, all that. She had 3 dead cats, and she was trying to get them cremated at this animal hospital.
Yeah.
And these things have been dead for a minute.
Yeah.
She brought them in fucking fish tanks, dude. Fucking fish tanks. Brought them in to the animal hospital and is like, yo, your problem now, guys. and then
Bro.
He was like, hey, and I need you guys to come out. I need you guys to wear gloves, face shield, all that stuff. I'm gonna hand it to you like a fucking drug deal with money and shit. It was like some in the forest, just me and you, no anybody else, no guns. Like it was that kind of thing. She hands off the fish tanks. Bro, they just fucking put the damn fish tank in the freezer, and we're like, I'm not dealing with this fucking shit, dude. I'm not cremating you, dude. First off, can you imagine if they opened it up and they're like, it's like some fucking dead cat kush in there, man. Like that shit probably fucking stinks.
No, it's funny. I was thinking like they didn't know COVID got transferred, but they got dengue fever from the 3-week-old cats. There's some crazy exotic like
I know. It's like a beer. Somebody's making a beer. It's like, actually, this is a fermented barley wine out of dead cat. I've already drank so much of it, I don't even like it anymore. But
Dude, that's so sad,
dude. But like
obviously
that mentality, and so then you're telling me that COVID itself gives you anxiety after you get it, even though the antibodies should help you in theory, right?
Yeah.
After you beat it. And I'm not saying there aren't maybe some people having tough time breathing after COVID. I fully believe that could happen. I even heard some NFL players say like, dude, I just didn't feel right this year. I got it in the off season. Just didn't feel right this year. I'm feeling better now though. I'm not saying that doesn't happen, but like you're saying that these people that get locked in their house watching CNN all day, they're bringing in cats with fucking fish tanks that are dead, malnourished cats, didn't get fed and stuff like that. And look, is this lady? Can we say that this lady was a picture perfect mental health person before that? Probably not.
Yeah.
This is probably like more Breaking Bad metaphors, probably like fucking Better Call Saul, his brother, you know what I mean, with the electrical blanket. Probably like that, like, so
Great analogy.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's fucking wild, dude. Yeah, that's so crazy.
I don't know, man. I just don't know.
Yeah.
We're
Well, the problem.
seeing. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, the problem is when, like, you don't have to think Fauci's the Antichrist or whatever, but when you unironically trust someone like that who's been wrong so many times historically and so many times this last year, like, what are you saying? Like, what are you, you're literally, you're just saying you're a sheep. You're just saying that you'll believe what they say because it's Fauci, even though, like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. And why was he wrong about I didn't realize, I was so blown away when, yeah, his quote on the swine flu vaccine, right?
Mm-hmm.
When all the narcolepsy shit was coming out, and I didn't even know that he was weighing in on that shit back then, but he was basically saying, like, no, you need to get it, it's fine, it's gonna be okay.
And that was when those nurses, right? Didn't a bunch of nurses
Yeah,
get
he was wrong.
narcolepsy?
He was wrong. Yeah, they're still that. So over there, they're suing the vaccine manufacturer. Still
But we
getting paid
can't do
out.
it here.
Yeah, exactly. So
Thanks, Reagan. Yeah.
yeah. No,
And,
man, it's cray. It's
Reagan and Reagan, not Johnson
yeah,
and Johnson. But
Cragen, dude. Yeah,
fucking,
yeah.
but anyways, let's pivot on to this last one. I don't want to spend too much time.
Yeah.
You got into um this is good, man. This is good. You don't like when you do it. I like when you do it.
Yeah, I do it every one. I don't know. I was surprised I cared about this so much, or that anyone cared about this so much. Really.
I did, because I didn't care at all. I didn't care at all
Yeah.
until I saw you get in there, and I'm like, oh, okay. When I see you
Yeah.
get involved, I'm like, well, this means something,
Yeah. Oh, thanks.
It's
Yeah.
obvious. It's obviously something if you got involved. Because if I get involved, I don't even get involved. I just clown somebody and then leave.
Yeah.
Like I or just laugh or make.
And I want to say I could be wrong on this one. I don't even know. Like I'm not saying these people I'm getting into it with, like, I got a lot of respect
but
for
it's not.
usually,
But the point of this is not even about being right or wrong. That's what this is about.
Yeah.
The point of this whole discourse, and I don't even like the word discourse, but I'm going to say it. It was the Twitter topic of the day. Now, for anybody who is a non-online listener of us, we love you more than the online people. I'm sorry, we do.
Yeah.
And the
how could you not?
if you don't know, so there's a Chapo Trap House. This is just gonna be a little, because some people are gonna be like, "What the fuck were you guys talking about for the last 30 minutes?" Like, like the Chapo Trap House people and the quote unquote post left people, some of whom really like Amy Therese, some of them, like other people.
Yeah.
We've been linked in with both of those. We've been, I've gotten criticism from Jude Doyle fucking saying we were Chapo spinoffs, and then I've told from other people we were post left. So I don't even fucking know. So, but nonetheless. RC, just RC, man. Like we just have politics. It's just my politics. I'm sorry, they don't perfectly align with somebody. And that's what I mean. Like, it's just my bad for having beliefs. Anyways, what I'm talking about is assisted suicide. Assisted suicide is a thing. So in this context, we'll say your grandfather is 82 years old, has stage 4 colon cancer, and is basically a corpse at this point. He is able to say, I want to die. I'm done. I do not want to live anymore. This sucks. Give me some barbiturates or whatever and take me out. Like that's how I want to go out. I want to go out just feeling good and that's it. Then in theory, your family agrees, but it's still up to the person, right? And the doctor, and the doctor does it and puts it away. There's that Kevorkian element to it that people freak out about.
Yeah.
Now, can you explain to me what the argument against that is from the quote unquote post left?
Yeah. Well, yeah, and I want to make sure and to be honest, they might have some good points, and there's probably some stuff I don't understand about this, but the whole thing, I think, it wasn't like Felix from Chapo. They were making fun of that Rahm Emanuel's brother. Was like that he posted
Zeke Emanuel,
that weird art being like, we should all die at 75 so we could all work more, and because what's life after work and stuff, pure like dystopian bullshit.
Capitalist bullshit.
We agree that's all bullshit, right? But then Felix was like, I'm pro assisted suicide because I saw my grandpa go through pain or whatever and stuff, and like. And
I think Will said the same thing too. Like he was like, my dad passed away, and it was like a really nice way to say goodbye on our own terms.
Yeah. Sorry if I don't disagree with Chapo on every fucking topic. You know what I mean?
On like an ethical, personal issue too, not even like a political thing.
No, but that's the thing. So Amy freaked out and was like, "You're making, like you can't make your own moral, personal stuff political and stuff." And I'm like, not sure I agree with that. First of all, like
isn't that like what a lot of politics is?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So anyway. So there, I don't want to mischaracterize, and if anyone wants to come on and explain it and debate this, we're more than happy, to. But
I'm not. You are, but yeah.
Yeah, you know,
yeah. Go ahead.
the whole thing with. Okay, so from what I can gather, they're concerned about legalizing euthanasia in today's society because they think it will be co-opted by capital, basically, to use that, capital, right? Whatever. Yeah,
All right.
co-opted by capital to convince, like, not to convince old people, or not even old people, to get non-necessary suicides.
Right.
To lessen the burden, so we can just keep the machine running, basically, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that's the main argument against it.
And-
Besides the
and
moral stuff, there's the
to be
moral stuff too.
Fair. I saw the person, and this is where this gets weird, because it's not so much the take, it's the person saying the take that gets people mad, right? And this guy, and it wasn't even a Chapo guy, it was like this rose emoji fucking dumbass saying he has degrowth in his fucking bio, saying this. He's one of those degrowth bros. Like, like population's too high, we need degrowth for more resource. So like, I will say, I probably disagree with that guy's reasoning on why on assisted suicide. Like, he's probably saying it like, let's trim these numbers down. That's not for me. What I'm saying is that I think it should be ethical amongst your family to decide. And honestly, it's the person's choice, right? Like, the person, if they're capacitated, if they're able to say this. Because remember when Terry Schiavo, like, when she, that whole thing, that was a huge, that was a huge fucking thing. Deal. Terry Schiavo, like, taking her off the life support. Part of her family didn't want it. The husband's family did. I forget what the thing. It was a clash. So I understand that, but it's like not a policy. I mean, I guess it's a policy. A policy would have to be implemented. So I don't see how you could push back.
I don't care about any of that. I'm sorry. I think it should be someone's fucking right to decide that, regardless of any of the, like, of any of that shit, the degrowth shit or any of that stuff. I'm sorry. I just think, I don't think, it's like you said, like, sorry, Grandpa, we know you're like living in your own shit for like 3 weeks, 4 weeks now, but like, we can't let the fucking degrowth people win,
it's like part of my family. It's like part of my family is arguing on part of my family is What's Left patron members, and then part of my family is Chapo Trap House patrons, and we're fighting with each other about which podcast is right on you dying. It's like, that's what I saw out of that whole debate.
Exactly, dude.
Half of the debate. Now, I saw you get into it with somebody on there, and I thought that was actually a pretty good conversation, the one that you were in with the guy, kind of going back and forth.
Respect.
It was a little
I apologize for being a little heated,
a little slinging, but again, I thought you guys both like kind of went back and forth. I tend to side with you a little bit more on what you said, but like, I thought that was fine. You guys actually argued about the ethics of it. Most people were just like, Felix said this, fuck Felix. Or Amy said, like, I love fuck Amy, I hate that. And it's like, do you even have a take on it, or is it just like, which book of 10 commandments did you decide to go by?
And this thing taught me that, like, a lot of these, like, quote unquote post left, like, independent thinkers who are so scared to go against fucking Amy. Like, what? Like, like, that's your,
and if you do go against, it doesn't fucking mean that you hate Amy.
I know,
like, I don't hate her. I've disagreed with her on a lot lately. I'm not gonna lie, I've disagreed with her on a lot lately.
Some dumb shit that I'm like, oh, dude.
Sure, but whatever.
But
and we've had it on here. Even Adam Lear on here said that, like, you shouldn't agree with her all the time. Like, he even said that on here. Like, so,
and gay stepdad.
And so it's like, but here's, like, it becomes, and then all of a sudden it becomes, what is the utility of Chapo Trap House? What is it? Like, look, I will never ever consider myself a Felix Biederman fan again. Never ever. Doesn't matter what he does.
And I'm extremely against.
We've hit roadblocks. Ideologically with Chapo Trap House. Not anything against him personally. Just I'm sorry, like, I cannot agree to
We're not politically
on mandatory vaccinations.
Exactly.
Stuff like that. Like, and like, I'm sorry, like, it sucks to hear them speaking on health. I hate hearing them speak on health in any fashion, because they're the type of people. They spent fucking, I remember when I listened to them during the fucking primary, they spent forever talking about Bloomberg banning sodas from schools. I'm like, that's your problem with Bloomberg? It's like, dude, I'm sorry. Kids shouldn't be fucking drinking soda.
That's such a weird lib thing.
Yeah, it's such a fucking
even Bernie was on that.
Like, exactly. Like they spent forever on that. They're all about, like, just fucking stuff your face with Shake Shack. Like, who cares? We should have healthcare.
They're libertarian when it comes to being like a fat ass.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So I'm like, I don't want to hear them talk about that. I don't. I don't want to hear. So like for me to like agree with Felix, which it's not even agreeing. It's just more so like, yeah, I could see why that's right. Like why you're okay with your grandpa deciding I want to die now, or it doesn't have to be your grandpa. It could be a 44-year-old person that's stricken with pancreatic cancer. Like it's something like that where even if you have the capital, like this whole capitalist argument. I remember you and I were talking about this yesterday, like just this like, yeah, but capitalism. It's like, all right, I wouldn't care what economic society we were in. I would still have that take.
Exactly. No, so that's the thing. That's where we'll go on. Yeah.
No, it wasn't. It was just like I wouldn't care what system you're in. But I will say one thing I've seen from, and I hate looping him in his post left because I don't want to sound like fucking Carl Bayer. Again, a lot of these people are like people I like that I'm talking to right now. People I genuinely like and agree with on more than I don't. Right. But I'm sorry, like I don't think we're gonna see fucking communism, socialism, whatever, populism, like a real. I don't think we're gonna see that in our lifetimes.
You're black-pilled.
So we can't not like have choices that we think are ethical, because a lot of people I saw pushing back against it. It's like, yeah, but capitalism wants poor old people that aren't useful anymore to die, which I don't think is true, because I think what they want. I don't think it's true either. I think pharmaceutical companies love when fucking old people push another 5 years when they have a fucking 10-pound bag of pills that they have to take every day.
Yeah. Like, so this is the thing. I guess there was two. They think that
they, meaning the Amy post left kind of
whatever. They think and I was glad to do this just because I wanted to see how like groupthinky people were on, and like what sides, I just wanted to like, okay, here's a take where I disagree with a lot of people that we follow or whatever, or that follow each other, mutuals or whatever. Like, let's see what are people just saying they're down with like open debate, or is that just some like weird thing they say to try and be edgy? You know what I mean?
That's why when I saw that corner of Twitter, I was like, or just like for us, like you've said, we've made it abundantly clear, like our politics aren't welcome on the left. You know what I mean? Like, so when I saw that, I was like, well, that's cool. We can disagree on things, but we can still stick to our core elements, because our core elements are like, are certain things. Like I still want healthcare. I still want that. I still want all.
And there's the other thing too, where where people, no one ever says like, I disagree with Amy on this. Like if they're a fan, they'll just be like, oh, I don't care about this. You guys care? So lame. They'll just do that. I'm not calling.
Which is an irony, bro, thing to do, which is ultimately like the Chapo thing to do when they have like a take that aligns with liberalism. They'll be like you care? Like, and it's like, well, and then, but then when you say you're going to side with a Republican on the line of thinking, they're like, you can't. So it's the same concept. And I hate when people's politics turn into media wars. That's one thing I hate. It should not turn into media wars. It should not be what's left against Chapo determines my politics.
Well,
that's not that. Have your own independent thought. It's okay if it's different than Amy's. It's okay if it maybe one thing you align with Chapo on. You didn't become a patron. I'm not going to become a fucking patron of Chapo because I agreed on assisted suicide with Felix. Like, that's not gonna happen. Like,
let's talk about the what you mentioned before about the nuts and bolts of it. So these guys are claiming that capital, it's weird when you just use that as like a catch-all term. It's like when you say the elite, I'm like a James Corbett stan, where he's like, there's multiple competing factions, all searching for maximum power, maximum profit, all this stuff. It's not just one group of things. Now that there might be a very real one group of people that run like at the Gates Foundation or whatever, you know what I mean? But it happens organically. It's not like but anyway, so they're saying that it would benefit capital most that it's expensive for insurance companies to keep old people alive, and they want so they're saying we're by backing assisted suicide, we're playing into insurance companies' game, that they want to just knock off old people so that we can just charge young people for insurance and all that stuff. And I'm like, okay, but they're not the only player in the game. What about the pharmaceutical companies? What about
I think pharmaceutical companies literally don't want people to die. They want people to be corpses and cadavers that can still consume pills.
Look, how many times have you seen? I've seen it more than once in my family, where it was a huge issue in my family where my mom's inheritance was like was siphoned away kind of illegitimately to keep my grandmother alive, who didn't want to be alive, who was paralyzed. She had a stroke. She was paralyzed on half her body for
You're gonna
like
get in trouble by that. You know someone's gonna disagree. My mom's inheritance. Oh, he has an inheritance.
no. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm
I
saying
know.
like, and this is getting some personal.
No, you don't have to
Yeah,
elaborate. I'm just saying.
I'm saying like all.
People are gonna make it seem like you guys own some fucking empire by saying
Oh
that.
no,
But yeah.
no, yeah.
You're just
definitely
talking
not,
about their estate, if you will. Yeah.
I've had, okay, let me put it this way. I've had multiple of my closest elders in my family die recently. I've gotten $0 from any of them.
I know you. I'm just saying.
yeah.
I'm trying to.
Yeah.
You
It's
know,
so
people
weird how
find
people-
loopholes
yeah.
when they disagree.
Oh,
with
yeah,
you.
for
It's
sure.
fucking weird.
No, but
Yeah.
I've seen entire, it, albeit small, like I've seen entire families' fortunes evaporate due to elder care of
Who
health.
don't want to be alive.
Who don't want to be alive. And it's like, what do you think? You think capitalism is going to prefer, oh, you could take this $3,000 shot that will end it and wrap things up very smoothly and you won't suffer, or you could stay alive and spend $50,000 to $100,000 over the next couple of years. Which one do you think they prefer? You know, it's like, so it's like I reject the premise that it's going to be some huge like elder cull season, you know, where they're going to try and, you know what I mean? There might be a thing against that. I could be wrong on that, you know. I could, and people are like, that was the biggest pushback. They're like saying I'm dumb and naive for believing that this wouldn't happen or something, right? But here's the thing: even if that was the case, you know, I would still think it's the right of an old person. Like, and there was the other thing. Yeah, rights are ideological. I was told, you know, that like if you think you have a right to do something, that's your ideology speaking. So I was like, okay, like. So free speech is ideological, like I guess so, but like that's also pretty like inalienable.
Who doesn't have an ideology?
And that's the thing is like I don't care. I'm not gonna be against assisted suicide for people who want it, to own the neolibs, to own the fucking
Chapos and
exactly. Like I'm sorry, it's like it's I've seen so many old people die where they're just suffering. And I'm sorry. I'm a spiritualist. I'm not a materialist. People, you know, there is the weird moral thing in like the post left I see or whatever, you know, whatever. I hate even using, we're all turning into Carl Bayer, huh?
That's why I hate even saying it. But I guess
yeah.
just for the conversation's sake, right? Like
there's a weird, there's a weird leftist, like atheist kind of vegan materialist thing where everything is just like a fucking neolib, like building block basically, right? And which I don't agree with. And then there's like the other end of the spectrum, the more conservative, more like reaction, you know, or reacting from that, kind of being like, no, like things have inherent. I'm like, I honor life, and I'm not a materialist in terms. I'm not an atheist at all, but also I don't believe death is like the biggest. I believe shitty life is a way bigger deal than death, you know, and especially in today's society, the way we created it. I think death is like a relief for, and I do believe in life after death, in whatever that means. You know, I think we can't even fathom what happens. Or whatever,
I'm with you too.
know,
I don't even try to quantify what my beliefs are. I just know there's something.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's like, so like, I'm sorry, like we've created a society where we, especially in America, in the West, where we completely fear and loathe death. And that's partly behind keeping people, extending people's lifespan well into their 80s. Like, look, some people are going to live to be 80, 100, 110 years old on their own and be healthy. And like, I'd hope those people don't want to commit suicide, you know? And so, you know what I mean? Like but like, if we're just extending life for 5-10 years beyond in a hospital bed on the cocktail of pharmaceuticals, that's not trad. That's not cool. You know, that's not fucking, you know, that's fucking lame. That's neolib bullshit. Like that. I'm sorry. That's
no, it's well said.
I want to offer people a way out. It's like,
yeah, and it's not like
anyway.
it's not like some fucking thing where to me I don't think that's a slippery slope. They're saying it's a slippery slope where it's like, well, now it's going to be anybody in this hospital over 85, massive fucking, you know, like takeout thing where if the market, because he keeps saying it's if the market was in a better place, I'd be for what you're saying. And it's like, well,
who decides when does that happen? When do we cross the line?
No, that's such a cop out, dude. Yeah, the market. I do not have market based beliefs. I'm sorry. Like my belief.
You know what this reminds me? You know what this? I have a perfect analogy. This reminds me of the Radlib COVID schools in the early days when they're like, "This is gonna show how shitty capitalism is. We need to lock down to crush the virus." And then it became clear that that was
stop
total
labor. We're gonna stop labor.
Yeah. And then it became clear that was a total self-own, and that like, oh, actually it hurts people to shut down their fucking hair salon, and like this person's like unemployed now, and like, oh, and Bezos has tripled his wealth in the last like year, you know, good job, you know, your ideal. Yeah, we had to prove capitalism wrong by locking everyone down, you know. So it's like, it's that you guys are the ideological ones a lot of times, you know. And in that case, I'm not saying, yeah. So anyway, it's like, yeah, that's what it reminds me of, is that kind of thing where you just beware of like, we have to work within capitalism. I'm sorry, we're not gonna figure it out in the next 10 years.
We're
so are we
at
gonna
all? And I'd argue we're so far away from it, like so far. And that's not a reason to give up. It's not at all. It's not a reason to give up. I'm down. I will support anybody I see organizing material gains for workers.
Yeah.
Anything like that. But I'm not gonna wait for the perfect fucking scenario for my politics to jump in. You know, I'm not gonna create this like, well, okay, now if workers own this much production, if healthcare is a public thing, if healthcare is subsidized, and all this, I'm not waiting for that to then implement my politics. I don't do harm reduction in capitalism. Like I do my politics in capitalism. Like I just my politics, my ideology is my ideology, and what somebody else thinks, like look, maybe it's the meme, the worst person you know just made a great point. Maybe it's that meme, like that onion fucking article. Like maybe it's that, and it's okay. Like, and I've seen some people like, wow, some of these people like maybe that might have agreed with us are hopping back into the fucking leftoid share. It's like, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm clearly not going to. We just literally talked about how fucking COVID's bullshit for fucking 45 minutes.
Yeah,
dude.
dude,
like I'm not going to. Like it's not,
no, dude. It's
not the
it's
case.
the whole it's this whole thing where I had a point on that. I forget. I don't know.
No. What we don't. Well, I don't know, man. Like it's a lot of fucked up shit right now. It's a lot of What
it's kind of like where if you filter everything through the lens of like, what do the elite care about this? What are they gonna do? You know, what does Rahm Emanuel think? All this stuff, you know, all this crazy shit. Like, you're gonna have a bad time, you know. It's like
South Park.
That was my well, that was my thing with the little debate we had online, where I was like, I'm sure you make exceptions to other things that are exploited under capitalism that you still don't want to have go away or have your rights taken away just because they're exploited by capitalism. That, you know, that doesn't mean, that's such a dumb thing for me, you know. It's such
you and I have been talking about that, like we want what we want, but other people swear that they will fit square into a communist society, like as is. Like if it just started tomorrow, like we're all gonna have to. We're all still products of capitalism. We all still are. And under this scenario, like I do think you should be able to. It's bodily autonomy. I'm sorry. That's the other thing. It's bodily autonomy to decide when you want to die. Like I'm not saying like there's obviously a problem when 20-year-old kids are offing themselves, like, and I'm talking about like that's a completely different scenario, right? Like I'm not pro suicide in that way, because there's a lot of fucking elements that go into that. Then that's a whole nother episode. That's a whole nother thing. But like with vaccines, like I feel like we're the only people that actually fucking value bodily autonomy. Or not us, but just people who are like this. I don't think you should be forced to get a fucking medical procedure done to you. I don't believe. I believe that women should be allowed to have abortions, and I believe that you should be allowed to end your life. Like it's not like it's not the Bill Burr buffet, fucking feminist buffet thing. Like
that's the thing. It's not. That's the thing. Extending your life in today's modern society, as it has been for the past 35, 40 years with modern hospitals and shit, is a form of forced. It's a form of forced medicine where, like, you know, if you don't, like Steve Jobs, he's like, I'm not going to take chemo. I'm not going to do the chemo thing. People are like, you're committing suicide. And he's like, whatever. He does
the meme, the
Bob Marley, right?
That should be the episode art, dude. The Steve Jobs face. Yes.
So literally, like, it's like, who says you have to get the newest fucking chemo treatment? Like that's only been around for just to extend life. Who says, you know, like who made up that rule?
I know.
It's like, I could see of no better way than put up the middle finger to the, and keep, you know, medical shit is like what, 30% of our GDP. It runs it is capitalism, right? It's like, where it's like, what better way of putting a middle finger to like the medical capitalism than being like, I'm not going to do another 5 years of this bullshit, you know, of like all that money. And again, like families' life savings are just funneled into.
And what is a DNR
old
tag? I'm
purposes.
sorry. What is a DNR tag? Like, I'm not saying it's the
Yeah.
same thing. I understand, because that's like
Yeah.
you naturally slipping into like a state of like cardiac arrest or something. Like,
Yeah.
I know that's different. I'm just saying, like, you should be against DNR tags at that point.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That, you know, like at that point, you should be like, no, no DNR tags. We're gonna save you till we can't.
Yeah.
Like, and that's, I don't know, man. Like,
Yeah.
like
It's
for
just
me,
a principle I have. It's not
yeah,
going to change.
yeah.
'Cause
And
of
tying it back
fucking-
with the vaccine, like
Yeah.
it's weird. Like people feel themselves pressured. Like I feel pressured to get the vaccine. Like my parents got it, and like just a little personal thing. Like if I go visit, like I was thinking about going to go visit my grandma. She's fully vaccinated, fully vaccinated.
Yeah.
I haven't seen her since my grandfather died a year ago. Like I haven't seen her. We didn't get a chance to say goodbye to him or anything like
Yeah.
that. And like with the vaccine, like they're like, it's too bad you can't stop by and say hi. I'm like, why can't I stop by and say hi? They're like, well, you're not vaccinated. I'm like, well, she is.
Yeah.
They're like,
Yeah.
yeah, but still, I'm like, no, like,
Yeah.
it's bodily autonomy. If she wants me
Yeah.
to come by and I don't get like, I feel this thing, because some people just
Yeah.
like simply, hey, refuse it, say no. And I'm
Yeah.
like, well, here's the thing. It's a cost benefit analysis.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
that's a fucking capitalist thing. I'm sorry. But
Yeah.
like a cost benefit analysis in life, like it's the
No,
same
but
way.
it's not a capital. It's literally what we've
No,
done.
I know.
It's
I'm just
time
saying it.
immemorial.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have
it's
to
like-
do it a bit more in capital, I guess
Yeah.
I should say.
Yeah.
And it's a cost, like, okay, like I'm totally against the vaccine. Like I'm totally against it, me getting it personally.
Yeah.
Not against anybody getting, I'm not against it even being produced. I
Yeah.
just don't think I should be allowed to get it. In the same way that, like, hey, would I personally say I want to die at 85 no matter what? Like if I'm sick? No, ask me then. But I want to have the choice. And if the like I am getting pressured into like there's
Yeah.
so many like extenuating circumstances that make you make a choice that you make. And that's what I see coming from people. Like I feel like I'm being forced into taking a vaccine, not by the government. I feel like I'm being forced by my family,
Yeah.
because what is my life if I can never see my family?
Yeah. Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there is no quality of life like that. I saw some people
which is why it's so evil to lie about the efficacy of vaccines and all that stuff, because it creates this false narrative that we all need to get it and all this stuff.
And what is the benefit of life if you're a fucking corpse already? And I'm sorry, you're just being kept alive by pharmaceuticals, and your family can't do anything but just stare at you. You know what I mean?
At least it's not death.
At
That's
least
what
it's-
and that's what one of the replies to my thing was like. They were like, "This is a big deal. This is death," in all caps. And I'm like, "Oh, okay. You're worried about death, you know?" It's like
which is
it's
funny because like that's probably an atheist saying that. No,
maybe, I don't know. Yeah,
not. I mean, we
I'm
can't
not-
assume, but like they put such a. I'm not an atheist. Like I'm not religious
Yeah.
at all. I'm not agnostic. I don't know anything. I know there's something out there. I'm not. I
Yeah.
don't subscribe to any religion, but I've had experiences where I've seen things, and,
Yeah.
and I'm sure you have too. Certain
sure.
parts of life where I'm like, look, there's something out there, and I don't care to know. I don't really even want to find out, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I know it's
Chad.
there.
Yeah.
But I think some of these people just value. They think that, look, whatever my lifespan is, that's my lifespan on this earth, and I'm done. And whatever, that's the right to believe that. But yeah, like I mean, I was kind of going all over the place with the vaccine stuff. But like, I feel like nobody truly believes in bodily autonomy, is what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Like I'm going to be for. I mean, I'm not saying I am right now. I'm not going to.
Mhm.
But if I have to get that vaccine, if my life is made so shitty by not getting the vaccine,
Yeah,
I'm going to get
you'll-
the vaccine.
You'll get it. Yeah.
If
yeah.
my life is, I don't want to die, but if my life
Yeah.
is so fucking shitty,
Yeah.
like so shitty at 85, no quality, I'll die.
Yeah.
And I
What if,
want to have that choice. Like,
what if
it's
the
just-
euthanasia shot is the same as the Pfizer shot?
there you go. 2 shots.
yeah.
Yeah. First week
Yeah.
you're fine. Second week you get symptoms. You're dead.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah,
Look,
I don't know.
My dad had a heart attack and then died from another heart attack a week later, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like we're pretty sure he like was just like, fuck it, I'm not gonna take my. He wasn't like
Yeah.
on a deathbed or anything, but we're pretty sure he just was like, I'm not gonna take my meds or whatever. I'm not gonna, because he was not about that hospital. He hated doctors. He, I got a lot from him about the whole
Yeah.
And I'm just like, yeah, anyone spent any length of time in a hospital, it's like you should you should absolutely be, you should be given like a fucking, like you should be given the shot that you could administer personally, like at any point you want to, if you're, you know what I mean? It's that extreme, you should be
Yeah,
like,
exactly, man. Like
I don't know, man.
it just seemed like a
I'm
debate
ju-
where
yeah.
it strayed further and further away from what they were actually talking about.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't care if you want to keep your grandpa alive for fucking 5 years. That's totally fine. That's you. I mean,
Well, that's what they were saying. Like, it's like, well, it sucks that it's this way. It sucks that old people suffer, because before they would just die. 50, 100 years ago, they would just die, right?
my grandpa's dad on a walk after dinner He was 50 years old, just died, just dropped dead. They didn't know what was wrong with him, anything. And they're just like, he just died.
But now it's like this drawn out choice. And like, and let's be honest, a lot of it, I saw this with my own family with like, you know, my grandma was on her deathbed for years. It was the weirdest fucking thing.
I remember that.
And the kids don't want to let her go. You know, I'm talking about my parents and aunts and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm sorry, that's like
selfish.
It's selfish, and it's like it's understandable, but it's like you got to accept that part of life, you know. And it's like, I don't know, man. It's crazy. Yeah.
No, I mean, like I said, I think we did a pretty decent job saying our stance on it. Because, like I said, I don't have ill will towards. I still have a lot of ill will towards Chapo. As I mean, I tend to kind of just block them out of my mind. I don't tend to like fight a war with them. But like, you know, if I hear something I don't like from them, I'll speak on it. But like I don't have the ill will towards anybody who has that take. I'm like, you have to like understand that this is very much a personal belief. It's just a personal belief. Like it shouldn't matter. Economics shouldn't matter in this scenario. Like I feel like you stand for nothing if your beliefs are so market based. That's all I'm saying. Like I feel like you don't actually have beliefs at that point. It's just well, capitalism sucks, so I need to do the opposite of capitalism, which isn't even the opposite of capitalism. So
and I'm sorry with like Amy, it's like everyone says they're like, oh yeah, like I don't agree with her on everything, or like you should disagree with her on some stuff, but then they get all weird whenever anyone disagrees with her on anything. You know?
Well, because again, it's like now I will say some of the people that were coming at those people were like Chapo patrons, and like they were fighting the Chapo battle. Like I said, it was just like the, you know, I don't know, man. Like it's not. I'll tell you this, like I've said it before on here. If we're wrong about something, like if you can like us, like there's people that that listen to us that voted for Biden. There's people that listen to us that are vaccinated. There's people that listen to us that are scared shitless of COVID. And some people just like us because we're entertaining. Some people like us because we're relatable. And some people like us for certain things. Some people like me just for sports. Some people think I'm a fucking retard with politics. Like, you know what I mean? It's true. And but like, don't ever fight for me if you don't believe what I believe is right. Don't ever fight for me.
Exactly.
Like, and I'm not even speaking like we're big. We're not as big as Amy. We're not as big as Chapo. It's not a jealousy thing whatsoever. I don't care if this ever gets bigger than what we're doing right now. Like, I never even thought it would be as big as we are. Like, and we're not even big. So I don't ever. If you see, like, I love Glenn. I love Glenn. I love Glenn, and I hate this person that's arguing with Glenn. But even though in the back of my mind I know Glenn's probably wrong and he doesn't know, message me and be like, hey man, I don't know if you know what, you know, like I find out why I believe what I believe, rather than just be like, man, fuck you. Don't do that. Like, I don't like stand culture. I don't like any of that shit. Like, have your own convictions, have your own beliefs, and don't worry about who shares those same beliefs as you. Just don't worry about it. Obviously on certain things, maybe like, just, but in these things where it's personal decisions on health, personal decisions on religion, personal situations on all that, have your own. That's I hate the hive mind. Don't ever like, you can be a fan of us and disagree with us, and I actually think that's awesome. Like,
and it's like, just because someone is very good at like showing someone else's argument is bullshit doesn't necessarily mean theirs is airtight, right?
No,
that's two different things.
And
like,
you can find a middle ground. You can do whatever.
You can call out Chapo and like, even to the point where like it's groundbreaking, where you'd never heard that before, and still be wrong on a bunch of shit. I don't know. It's just like, that's so obvious to me.
Exactly. I mean,
nonetheless,
I mean, we could talk about that forever. I think it's a good time to wrap up. That's good. So again, check out our merch on Griff Shop. That's going to be up there till Friday. I believe that's the 16th. We're going to have another episode coming up. Can I tease the next guest or no? Should we wait?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Hey, tease it. Next one is Doctor. He's a doctor, right?
Virologist.
Dr. Jonathan Latham. YouTube him, guys. YouTube him. I think his Corbett stuff might have got nuked by the YouTube button, the YouTube powers that be, the elite, if you will. And but we're gonna have him on. I think that's gonna be cool. Maybe we'll talk about a little COVID origins. Maybe I don't know. This is your guy. I'm gonna sit back and I'm gonna enjoy the show and come in every once in a while.
I think you gotta. I want you in there. For
sure. No. I'll be in there, and like I said, I gotta feel it out. It's like a boxer. You gotta take a couple punches, see what's going on. Then I'll hop in. But like, because I'm, it's a doctor. So we're gonna have a doctor on next. It'll be next Monday. The episode comes out, but we'll be there. But check out the merch on Griff Shop. we're going to be on a couple podcasts coming up soon. We'll let them announce it. And yeah, I mean, appreciate you guys listening. Like I said, have your own beliefs. Have your own beliefs. Just it's okay. It's okay to have your own beliefs. Just think for
Have your own
yourself.
principles.
The whole part about what I saw, people who disavowed the left, was because I thought they hated the hive mind. So don't then become the hive mind of the person that hates the hive mind of the left. Don't do that. It's a Russian nesting doll of disaster.
Yeah.
Even if it's us, I swear, like I'd rather hemorrhage fucking clout, knowing that we believe what we believe and people disagree with us. Than that. So, that's it for us. He's at Crypto Sci. I'm at Glen Rockney. This is Rare Candy Pod 1 at Rare Candy Pod 1. You can subscribe to us on iTunes, YouTube, Spotify. I appreciate everybody that's been listening. The last few episodes, people that came in for the guests, they've been sticking around. Really nice. And that's it for us, guys.
Peace.